Do you enjoy going to air shows? Yes, so do I. It's always fascinating to see not only the modern aircraft, but some of the older aircraft as well. And it's very often it's good to know a bit more about what's going on by using a radio, monitoring the aircraft frequencies. A radio like this you can carry with you and listen to the pilots, the control tower, air-to-air conversations and so forth. And in particular, not only monitor the VHF civil airband, but also the military airband. Well, I've been looking at this radio and I thought, I wonder if this is one of the best radios for those that go to air shows, or perhaps go down to the local airfield or to one of the military bases and park outside, as you can do. I went down to Coningsby recently. Very nice public car park there, very well conducted. You can sit in your car, or if the weather's fine, sit outside and watch the aircraft take off. It's sort of ready-made for spectators. But it's always much more interesting if you know what's going on, what's coming in, what's going out. And that's where you need something like this. So let's take a look at this particular radio.
I chose the version of the UBC 125XLT, which is preloaded with a lot of popular frequencies. You can, of course, save yourself a bit of money by buying the one that has got no frequencies preloaded. Let's look at the accessories that come in the box with both versions. There's a comprehensive user manual that comes with the radio, and it runs to 70 pages. It's very well written, and if you follow the various sections through, you'll have no problem at all in operating this radio. It's one of the better handbooks I've seen for some while. The radio is powered by two AA cells, and you're supplied with a pair of rechargeable cells rated at 2,300 mAh. There's a wrist strap, a USB lead, and a flexible antenna. Let's now take a closer look at the radio itself. The left-hand side is blank, but if we turn it around on the right-hand side, you can see a USB-C connector, and that's used for charging the batteries and also uploading data information. And if we remove the battery cover, you can see the two AA cells there, and also there's a very strong belt clip that is on the back, and that should be adequate for all sorts of outdoor use. On the top surface you've got the control knob, then you've got the socket for the headphone, and you've got the antenna socket, the BNC. That rotary control on the left, by the way, not only rotates, but also you can press it down to select several different functions. The keyboard on the front allows you to directly enter a frequency or directly call up a memory bank and perform a wide range of programming functions. The frequency range of the radio is 25 to 900 megahertz, and it offers the decoding of AM and FM modulation. The scanner works in two basic ways. You can either scan the memories or you can scan the frequency range. Now, if you're new to scanning, you may want to consider purchasing the one that I'm using, which is preloaded with a lot of popular frequencies. If, on the other hand, you're an experienced user, then you can purchase at a lower price the one that's empty and put your own frequencies in. You can do that either manually, or there's several PC programs that link to the USB-C socket on the side to make it quicker to program the radio. Selecting a memory, press hold, then we press 49 for memory 49, and press hold again, and there you'll see on the screen we've got channel 49 or memory 49. Direct frequency entry, press hold 145.5 and then press hold again, and we've got 145.5 entered. And once we've selected that frequency, we can enter that into one of the available memories. And the radio's got 10 banks of 50 memories, so you've got a total of 500 memories. Though we're majoring on the airband, I did leave the radio scanning and it landed on a marine weather channel, which I didn't actually know existed.
Outlook for the following 24 hours.
And likewise, it landed on a ham radio repeater, which actually proves that it is quite useful to have a lot of channels preloaded into the radio.
Right, okay. Final list. Anybody else wish to join us for a final round?
Now, where this radio does excel is at air shows, because it seems to have a very good performance. The sensitivity I found is very, very good indeed. And I think that if you're going to go to an air show and you want to see what's happening, or rather hear what's happening, then this radio could well be for you. Now, one of the good things about this radio is that you can switch to a mode called close call. Close call means that it hunts out signals anywhere in its spectrum that are close, so it doesn't have to be stored in a memory channel or scanning a certain part of frequencies. Switch on close call and it will hunt out local strong signals. So if you're at an air show, perhaps near the control tower, you should be able to pick up those signals, and it will not only pick the signal up, it will display the actual frequency, and you can then store that frequency in one of the memories. The only thing you've got to be aware of is that as soon as you switch the radio off, any unstored close call signals will be lost. So if you find a signal, press the button, store it in one of the memories. It's a nice feature. And of course it's a handy radio to have in the car if you happen to be passing near an airport. A feature particularly useful for airband monitoring is that you've got an alphanumeric display, so you can actually name the display, in this case the red arrows. And if you've got a group of channels close to each other, you can use the top right hand rotary knob to move up or down through the channels manually. This is very handy for air shows where you want to go between tower approach, etc. And finally, if you want to adjust the volume, you press the rotary control top knob and it turns into volume control. Press the function button and it turns into a switch control.
Now let's talk about aerials. That's the aerial that comes with the radio. This is an alternative aerial. As you can see, it's so much longer.
So you see the aerial that comes with the radio is quite small. You can get longer antennas. And the longer the antenna, generally speaking, the better the performance, particularly if it's dedicated to the airband frequencies. If you go onto our website, you'll see that we do a range of antennas, flexible antennas for airband use. And if you get one of these, you'll find that you'll cover much greater distance. The signals will be louder, and the radio will be more sensitive. In effect, you'll cover greater distances. You'll hear planes further away. And of course, there's nothing to stop you using an aerial outside. You could put an aerial on a mast outside or on the roof or wherever there's a convenient support. And if you use an outside antenna, again there's some dedicated antennas on our website. If you use an outside antenna, you'll be actually amazed at the range of this radio. You'll hear signals quite a long way away. So if you're going to buy a scanner like this, then do remember that as good as it is, you can improve the coverage of it, the distance that it's able to receive signals from, by using either a longer aerial or an outside aerial. So bear that in mind. I was very impressed with this scanner. It worked extremely well. And I must say that if you're into air shows, going to air shows, or just going around airfields and watching aircraft and so forth, it makes a big difference if you can actually hear what's going on. And it's also very sensitive. I compared it with my ICOM IC705 transceiver, which has got airband on it, and that's quite sensitive. This actually was just as sensitive as the IC705. And the good thing about this is it's compact. It's not overly expensive, and you can put it in your pocket or keep it in the glove box in the car if you're going near an airfield, etc. And I think it does represent excellent value. Now, you can buy more expensive scanners, but value for money, I think this takes a lot of beating. I know a lot of people that go around to air shows and so forth, a lot of enthusiasts already use this, but it may be new to you, the UBC 125XLT. We stock it, and yeah, it's very good. I found that the batteries, the AA cells, last for a long time. They're rechargeable. You can recharge the AA cells with the little USB plug in the side of the radio. So if you're out and about and you've got a cigar socket in the car, then you can give it a bit of a nudge if you want to. But really and truly, I've been using this for quite a bit now, and using it on and off all day. The batteries seem to last okay, and the screen, you can see it well in daylight. So some of the photographs I took, you couldn't really see the screen that well. That's because there was reflection, but basically, take it from me, you can see the screen very well indeed. And yeah, all in all, it's a nice radio. Lots of things you can do that I haven't covered in the handbook. There's a lot of things you can do. You can program it to do all sorts of things. You've got CTCSS, etc., etc. And I think reading the manual is very, very educational, because it's, unlike a lot of manuals, it really is easy to read, and it does cover all the things. And I think if you've got the manual, then you will understand how to do all the various programming things you can do. So yeah, there we are. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it's been informative. Do appreciate you supporting this channel. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. In the meantime, you take care. Enjoy your adventure in radio. Look forward to speaking to you and seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.